In the psychiatric ward of Warren County Hospital, a 21-year-old film student named John Carpenter joined his psychology class on a study visit. The hospital blotter that week listed only routine behavior cases, except one marked juvenile ward, non-responsive male, age 12. Staff called him the blank boy. He never spoke, never blinked, never reacted. The nurses said he only stared through people as if seeing nothing at all. Most dismissed it as catatonia, a clinical curiosity, just another file number. But months later, reports from interns and orderlies recorded mirrors cracking, scribbles on locked charts, and a paper mask left on the floor of his room. Everyone thought it was a prank until the files vanished. Decades later, Hollywood would soften the story, call it fiction, and give the boy a name. But here, in the archived corridors, his eyes still remain on record. The film opens under the grainy light of institutional hallways. According to hospital intake records from 1957, Case 382J refers to a male patient 8 years old, committed to the juvenile psychiatric wing of Warren County Hospital, later renamed Smith's Grove Sanitarium. The admission form was signed by Dr. Ronald E. Matthews, head of pediatric psychiatry, and lists only one phrase under diagnosis: profound affective withdrawal following domestic trauma. Local police blotter, Bowling Green Daily News, 6 October 1957, mentions a domestic altercation where a child was found standing by his parents' bedroom door, unresponsive, his mother injured but alive. The child's name is redacted in the surviving microfilm copy. The ink melted under heat exposure during the 1973 fire that destroyed part of the records room. He didn't move when we called his name, recalls retired Officer Henry C. Duvall, interviewed in 1992. Just stared. I've seen shock before, but not like that. The boy seemed emptied out. Hospital staff logs, Warren County Archives, 1958-1960, reveal repeated notations about the same patient. No verbal response to stimulus. Draws circles and crosses on paper, then tears them. Brief episodes of aggression without provocation. Former nurse Martha Gillen, interviewed in 1981, described the child's glassy eyes and refusal to recognize mirrors. She recalled requesting the removal of reflective surfaces after the child began screaming soundlessly at his own reflection at night, a sequence documented in nursing reports between February and March 1960. He wasn't afraid, Gillen told WKU Radio. He just looked like someone who'd forgotten to be human. The boy's first room number, Ward C12, still exists in the locked west wing of the now-closed facility. Paint flecks reveal that once, words were etched into the metal bed frame. He watches. Autumn 1970. John Carpenter, age 22, accompanied psychology professor Dr. George Mahalis on a supervised visit to Warren County Hospital. Class records, Western Kentucky. University archives confirmed the trip on October 12, 1970. Carpenter later described it in interviews. There was one boy they told us not to speak to. He just stared, and the look in his eyes, I've never forgotten it. It was pure evil. The hospital's attendance notebook, recovered in 1984, lists visitor ID 270, J. H. Carpenter signed out at 1748. On the reverse side of the page, written in pencil, someone, possibly an orderly, had scrawled, "Blank eyes followed them." Carpenter's reaction, according to a classmate named Elaine Rogers, was quiet but unsettled. He didn't speak the whole drive home. He just said, if something looked like that at your door, you wouldn't even know why you were afraid. By 1973, modernization plans forced Warren County Hospital to transfer juvenile case files to the new state mental health registry in Louisville. Archivists discovered one missing record series, Case 382J, the blank boy. Transfer logs note, fire damage, file incomplete. Yet volunteer archivist Mildred Colson later testified to seeing the intact file 3 days before the fire. Her memory, a photograph of a child with pale eyes and a mask crafted from hospital sanitary gauze resting beside it. After the fire, fragments remained, melted negatives, warped metal clips, and one partial report bearing the date October 31st, 1962. The entry ends mid-sentence, Attempted to leave room during Halloween activities, staff restrained. The hospital never located the original photograph, but an evidence slip attached to the report identifies item H31, paper face mask, one eye torn. That item was logged as disposed burned. Between 1965 and 1971, neighboring counties reported 14 minor break-ins near old children's homes that had recently been shuttered. Police dismissed connections, yet internal memos, Warren County Sheriff Archive, File Ukiandana 71, a WC-14, show one anonymous caller claimed the perpetrator never spoke, only stared. The handwritten docket note reads, "Caller hung up, voice sounded juvenile, possibly in shock." These reports circulated quietly among staff at the state psychiatric facilities. Dr. Matthews retired in 1972, citing stress. No one replaced him. Ward C was sealed that same year. After Carpenter's Halloween debuted in 1978, several retired employees of Warren County Hospital wrote letters to the Bowling Green Daily News claiming the movie borrowed from a real incident. Letter dated Nov 14, 1978, from MG, believed to be Nurse Gellin. "We knew him. He wasn't called Michael then. The film uses the name, but the eyes are the same." Hospital administrators refused comment, but the following week, TV reporter Sarah Dean, WBKO, attempted to access the decommissioned West Wing for a segment. She recorded malfunctioning equipment, noting on air that each time sound recorders passed Ward C12, audio cut to static. The station lost one of the two reels, later found with magnetic warping. The Kentucky Psychological Association issued a formal statement in 1979, asserting that no existing patient records corroborate any entity fitting the public depiction of Michael Myers. Yet their own internal bulletin, circulated July 1980, later archived, confirmed receipt of sightings of unrecorded minors visiting the closed hospital grounds at night. 2 students were arrested for trespassing in December 1980. When detained, both claimed they had been called by name from inside the barred window. Officer report excerpt: "No power on site. Voices seem to come from within. No persons found inside." The trespass footage, preserved on 8mm film, shows one broken window pane and, on the opposite wall, the faint reflection of a face mask. Former janitor Royce Lang testified to a peculiar accident in July 1981. While cataloging burned folders in basement storage, he suffered third-degree burns on his hand after handling a rusted box labeled 1970 visitation log. He claimed the metal was boiling hot, though the room was unheated. Following the accident, hospital board minutes mentioned cryptically no further handling of case materials without protective gloves. Within weeks, Lang resigned, leaving a note taped to his locker. "The boy was still here. I heard him breathe." In January 1980, John Carpenter, by now an established filmmaker, returned to Western Kentucky University for a guest lecture. A local student newspaper interview records his reflection. "People think I made the shape up. I didn't. It was born out of something real, a human emptiness I once saw." The article caused uneasy excitement around town. Several older residents sent letters warning the newspaper against waking the case. The editorial board archived 14 such letters, most unsigned, a few marked by medical stationery. All shared one sentence fragment: "He isn't a story." While Halloween grew into a franchise, the Warren County case remained buried until journalist Althea Crane published The Boy in Room C12, 1986, a limited press local book citing nurse testimonies and registry extracts. Crane's research traced back to Dr. Matthews' estate sale, where she recovered 3 patient index cards with burned edges. Each card bore only initials, but one matched the year 1957 and diagnosis code identical to case 382J. When she sent copies to Universal Pictures seeking comment, their legal department responded, "The character of Michael Myers is entirely fictional. Any similarity to real persons living or deceased is unintentional." However, Crane's book cites a telling interview with Carpenter. "The mask was anonymous. It wasn't supposed to mean anything. That's what frightened me most. You look at him and there's nothing there." Viewers applauded the movie's simplicity. Crane's research framed it differently, that the void had a source. After Crane's book circulated, visitors began sneaking into the former Warren County Hospital grounds. Local police records, case log Chapter 1987B5, document dozens of unauthorized entries that year. Photographs taken by journalists reveal vandalized hallways lined with chalk graffiti reading 382J. In late October 1987, documentary crew Southern Shadows filmed a special segment in the derelict West Wing. Their camera battery drained inside Ward C12 at exactly 10:31 p.m. Audio captured only a slow, rhythmic breathing before cutting out. The final aired episode replaced the sound with voiceover, but in the off-air transcript, the director included one margin note: tape ends abruptly, unclear if interference or respiration. By now, Halloween had become mythology, but in Bowling Green, archivists quietly fielded letters from TV viewers reporting nightmares of walls without doors. Crane herself wrote, "Maybe we built him a mask because the truth was harder to face." In 1992, the shuttered West Wing of the hospital was partially restored for a local history exhibition. Among the displayed items, a reconstructed patient room from the 1950s, assembled using salvaged furniture and authentic intake sheets, copies only. Inside a small glass case sits a paper mask, replica built from staff recollections and archival drawings. Visitors began leaving apology notes, scrawled on tickets or receipts, wedged under the case. The museum quietly allows them to remain. Guest book excerpts. Exhibit log Chapter C12, 1995-2005. Sorry we laughed at the movie. You were just a boy. Forgive us for turning you into him. One trustee, James Olbrich, reported incidents where thermal sensors failed when visitors mocked the display or tapped on the glass. Maintenance logs confirm spontaneous power surges localized to the room C12 replica, though the building wiring was new. We used to treat it like a Halloween novelty, Olbrich told the Herald in 2003. Then one night the air just dropped. Everyone heard the breath. No speakers, no drafts, just breath. The archive's final note appears in a curator memo dated October 31st, 2010. Exhibit sealed for renovation due to humidity. Staff request reduced photo policy. Unofficially, guards reported camera batteries draining and security footage freezing at 03:15 each night. The narrator visits the now dim room. Paper smell, faint iron in the air. The mask replica lies under glass, cracked at the mouth line. A small card underneath reads, Item H31, recreated. Source case destroyed, 1973. I meet curator Elaine Rogers, the same student who once drove John Carpenter back from that visit. Her voice is quiet. He was real. Only we changed what he meant. Before leaving, the camera lingers on the glass. Fingerprints ghosted in condensation, one small at child height. Out of habit, I lift the lens, but the reflection catches my own face beside the mask, and I lower it. Recording ends here. What began as a psychology assignment became a lifetime echo, from a boy without emotion to a legend that fed generations of fear. Each adaptation tried to clothe him in fiction, but every telling keeps the real file alive. And maybe that's why the West Wing still hums when the lights go out. The final caption fades against the dark hallway. Warren County Hospital. Restricted access. No photography permitted after midnight.